Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System at the port. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. If you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT. And you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. Remember, along the line, we shall be getting interactive with you. And so all you have to do is to send us your messages ahead of the show. And that's through our WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. We're also streaming live on our social media pages, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA Ghana. That's on Facebook, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA Ghana. On YouTube, we are streaming live at Eye on Port Ghana. My name is Kennedy Mona. We'll be back shortly.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at some of the happenings in the port and maritime industry in the course of the week. And during the week, the Maritime Organization for West and Central Africa, MOWCA, held its General Assembly here in Ghana, and they elected a new Secretary General for the organization. And the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport also held a Continuous Professional Development Program, a CPD, for some stakeholders, particularly truckers. And the objective is to deal with the menace of road carnage in our country. And GUTA, as the Ghana Union of Traders Association, are also up in arms against government, and they are calling for government to stay away from reversing the benchmark values. Let's take a look at these stories.
The 16th extraordinary session of the General Assembly of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa has been held in Accra, bringing together maritime experts, ministers for transport, and maritime administrators in the sub-region. The meeting enabled member states arrive at strategic decisions that would see to the revitalization of the organization's operations, which has been challenged over the past few years. The meeting was also used to elect the new Secretary General of the MOWCA Secretariat, Nigeria's Dr. Paul Adaliku. Chairman of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa and Ghana's Transport Minister, Kweku Foresiama, noted that it is only through a coordinated and integrated effort through an organization like MOWCA that development of the sub-regional blue economy can be effective.
No single member state can make significant strides on their own. Areas such as maritime security, maritime safety and navigation, port and infrastructure development, environmental protection, fisheries, among others, can only become effective when approached with a coordinated and integrated effort.
He urged member states to honor their full commitments with respect to financial, administrative, and operational obligations.
There is therefore the need, not only the need, the urgent need for member states to honor their obligations. We cannot change everything at once, but if we work together, progress in few areas will lead to progress in many areas.
Ghana's Chief of Staff, Akosia Frema Osei Opare, admonished MOWCA to lead the sub-regional efforts to urgently improve safety and security of territorial waters.
It is therefore our responsibility to protect this area, and I implore members to urgently take steps to address any insecurity issues. I've no doubt that MOWCA will be at the forefront of leading an effort to improve safety and security of our territorial waters.
The Maritime Organization for West and Central Africa is aimed at providing an effective intergovernmental sub-regional platform for sectorial cooperation in the field of maritime and transit transport in the maritime region, where countries share common problems of demand and supply for shipping services and associated safety and environmental protection threats. Over 2,300 people have been killed and 12,800 people injured as a result of road accidents in Ghana this year alone. The road carnage situation in the country reportedly leads to a loss of over $160 million of the country's GDP. Accidents on our road corridors also takes a massive toll on transit trade, leading to the loss of human resource, cargoes, as well as significant delays in transit time. This goes a long way to increase the cost of doing business for Ghana's transit trading partners, which in the long run makes our ports and corridors unattractive. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Ghana is keen on making a meaningful contribution to national efforts to subvert the incessant rise in road accidents. To this end, CILT Ghana has organized a continuous professional development program for various logistics and transport operators in Tema. The workshop also brought together major stakeholders that play critical roles in the national road safety machinery, such as the National Road Safety Authority and the Ghana Police Service. Other key stakeholders present were the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, among others. During the program, particular focus was given to instilling a professional culture and an attitudinal change among all stakeholders of the road traffic system in Ghana. Speaking to Iron Port, the president of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Ghana, Engineer Mark Amwama, indicated that the program has been tailored to ensure that real impact is felt on the ground.
We are signing some kind of memorandum of understanding with these organizations we've called them in here to ensure that whatever we've studied here, whatever we've discussed here, the kind of professionalism that we've actually tabled out here today, they go out there and implement them.
The Director of Operations at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, Dr. Samuel Sasumensa, also touched on some of the strategies the police service has embarked on to curb the menace.
We have a surveillance and monitoring center at the police headquarters. This one, we have cameras. We are able to capture drivers who are not respecting road traffic rules and regulations on our highway. It gives us live feeds on our center at the highway. So if even there is no policeman there, the videos, the photographs will be captured for us to actually fish you out and prosecute you.
Representing the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the General Manager Administration at GPHA, George Bredu, remarked that the losses from the road carnage situation are too grim and should be treated with urgency.
That almost every year we lose over 2,000 people. That is only for the fatalities.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has urged government to stay away from reviewing the 50% and 30% benchmark value policy on general goods and cars, respectively, that are imported into the country. Addressing a press conference, the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, averred that the benchmark policy has been a mitigating factor during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and has helped businesses to sustain prices of goods despite the surge freight resulting from the adverse global effect of the pandemic.
We will appeal. The 50% benchmark value reduction did not come out of the blue. For years, businesses in the country have been crying over high rate of import duties. It is worthy to state herein that, against all odds, the benchmark value was a mitigating factor during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020.
He predicted a 25% increase in the price of general goods should there be an attempt by government to review or reverse the values. He warned that any attempt to introduce this policy in the 2022 budget will disrupt Ghana's distribution sector, charged members of GUTA not to pay any additional amount on duty for clearance.
To members of the trading community, especially importers, to calm down and not to pay any additional amount on duty for clearance, as we await response of the government on this serious matter of concern.
Meanwhile, the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana is warning of some disruption in the value chain of beverage products ahead of the Christmas season should the policy be reversed in the 2022 budget.
You and I cannot afford the ordinary things that we are buying today. We are asking government to open the door for further interrogation or further discussion so that we can achieve or arrive at a possible way of doing our businesses.
The president of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, Eric Kwekubuatin, said the prices of vehicles in the country will increase if the 30% benchmark values on cars is reversed.
Some benchmark value no say 30%. What you importers? Yes, 50% every good that wants them. The Ghana for me. After the Yamane Boba
GOIL has launched its ASEDA promo to reward its cherished customers in Accra for their loyalty and patronage of the company's products and services over the years.
We've been with our loyal customers for a whole year. So this is the time we have to say thank you. ASEDA means thank you. So we are saying thank you to our loyal customers until the end of the year.
GOIL is giving out free fuel and souvenirs to customers who buy from any of its 95 stations in Accra till the end of the year. The South Zonal Manager of GOIL, Helen Tremanting, has, however, encouraged motorists to take advantage of this promo.
When you get to any GOIL station and you buy yourself fuel, lubricants, anything, ask for your gifts. We are giving out free fuel. We are giving out souvenirs.
She emphasized that GOIL serves the best quality of fuel and lubricants in the country, hence should be the first point of call for motorists.
We have a quality fuel. Our delivery too is on point. If you want quality fuel, that's our super, you get our super 195. The diesel too is with no sulfur. So I'm asking every truck driver, if you want to save money, please buy from GOIL.
All right, so you're welcome back. And tonight we are zooming straight into our discussion. And tonight we are talking the 2022 budget as read by the Finance Minister in Parliament during the week. there were some issues that he raised, and indeed one of the critical sectors of our economy is the trade sector. And so we are discussing the impact of the 2022 budget on trade in our country. This evening, we would particularly pay attention to issues that relate to our sector, that's the port and maritime industry. Now, one issue that came up in the course of the week was the issue of the GUTA, Ghana Union of Traders Association, and allied organizations impressing upon government to not to reverse the benchmark values policy that government intends to come. And when the finance minister was delivering the budget, he actually made it explicit that this was going to affect certain categories, some goods and not all. It's not a blanket reversal or review of that particular policy. We want to find out whether that indeed is welcoming news or is good news to the traders in our country. And so joining me for the discussion tonight, we will be having the Honorable Carlos Ahinkra, who is a former Deputy Trade Minister. Now he is a Parliamentary Select Committee Chairman on Trade, Industry and Tourism. He will be joining us via Zoom. We also have Dr. Joseph Obing, President of Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, in the studios. And we also have with us Mr. Eric Kweku-Boateng, President of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. He's also here in the studios. And let me say good evening to you, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah, so along the line, we shall be joined, like I said, by Honorable Carlos Ahinkra to shed more light on these issues that you seem to have raised and are so much passionate about. But let me start with you, Dr. Obing, and find out what your impression about the budget generally is, your general impression about the budget as read by the finance minister in Parliament during the week.
Yeah, I think before I can say anything about the budget, I will have to reiterate our input that we made to the finance ministry so that they will capture it. So after we've dissected the input, then you can benchmark with the outcome and see if our expectation is met or not. Yeah.
You made these inputs before the budget was ready?
Yes, it was requested of us to send our input, and we did send it.
Okay, to be incorporated into it.
To be incorporated.
Okay.
So what we have done was to ask government that we have supported government the same year, that's 2021, to introduce new taxes. Because we saw how government suffered during the COVID, when the COVID outbreak in 2020. The free water, the free electricity, the stimulus packages that were handed over to us, where we also benefited. In that case, we have to sympathize with government. Then government also realized that we also had a serious problem. But in all that, we have to balance and also sympathize with government to achieve the year's targets so that, government can have the respite to do its work. So if you recall, during the year, new taxes were introduced. The levies on the COVID itself, and then the VAT that was increased, the petroleum levy and others. We did not make any noise because we have to be rational and we have to sympathize with government. But then also, we cautioned government in the 2022 budget that the business community have started showing signs of fatigue in terms of tax payment.
Right.
And so government should be careful not to introduce new tax or add any layer of cost of doing business, because that's the bane of businesses now, and especially in the wake of the COVID, where things are actually affecting us badly, even globally. And so we have told government like this, and that's why we also told government that much as we know that we are also fatigued, we also know that government still need the required revenue to be able to undertake its numerous programs. In that case, we also said that government, there are so many areas that government should look to enhance upon its revenue connection, rather than piling up new taxes.
And you recommended some areas.
Yeah, so what we have said was that government should look at the leakages, because the leakages in the system is just too much. And so we reminded government the fact that warehouses, they are let of the warehousing system bring about a lot of leakages, and that they should monitor and find innovative way to seal these leakages at the warehouses. Somebody will bring a shipload, say that I'll put it in the warehouse where a custom officer will be assigned, and then before you realize the whole goods have come in without paying a dime. When you go to the free zones, where the abuse is so much overwhelming, that also you know that they have to produce, and then for the export market, and then little is allowed to come in.
Yeah.
But before you realize, I mean, the abuse is just too much. So reminded government on these things. If you recall, the leakages at the inland tracking, the goods that go to the inland, they also find their way. They do not go to the landlocked areas.
So diversions,
they divert it into the system. So if government look at all these things, then we also reminded government of the tax exemption scheme. That has been one of our major leakages. And then, you know, the tax exemption scheme is not being enjoyed by the poor people. It's rather being enjoyed by those who have the capacity to pay the taxes. And that we also said that the tax exemption should be revised, so that over 7 billion plus to 10 billion that is just going to that system should be added to government purse. Having said that, we also reminded government about the e-commerce that is emerging. If you have taken time to notice, during the apex, the COVID, the new norm that is coming is the e-commerce. And so many people have gone into this. This e-commerce trading is overtaking the traditional trading. And those the government should find innovative way to tax that area, because then it becomes difficult to even know those who are trading. But then it's a digital problem, it needs digital solution.
So the e-levy was your idea?
Yeah, the e-levy, no, it's part of it. But e-levy is just a component. It doesn't target. You see, people will advertise maybe hair products, cosmetics on their WhatsApp, and then they will sell, and then people, motor riders will deliver and all that. Those people are not all catch up into the tax net. But what government have to do is that my theory have always been that affordability. If taxes are affordable, those people will pay their taxes with all happiness. But you do not lump up a big rate of tax on them. So government found an innovative way to enrope in all these people. You know, the tax net should be widened. And then because just about just a little over 3 million people are paying their tax, where the people who are very capable of paying taxes in this country is well over 13 million. And so if we should find a way to rope them in, it will also help shore up government revenue. Then we also caution government about its expenditure patterns. Because we said that if we say we are in a crisis situation, then crisis situation demands crisis solution. Then if you don't have money, you do not overspend. Then you have to prioritize your expenditure. And then also we ask government in that regard also to look at value for money. That if you say that we are in austerity period, or we are bringing austerity measures, then of course we should find way that monies will not be misused. That we specifically said that they should put a page or a paragraph that will ensure that they are bringing mechanism that will make sure that there's effective monitoring of these resources that we are seeking, so that there will be value for money. You recall that most times you say that MTN is building a project, maybe a school project. MTN built it for 200,000, about 200,000 Ghana cedis, and you see the same project being built by a government contractor or at 1 million, and those things are not acceptable. If people have to be at this stage, then of course, and we are not expecting the government, of course, to touch the benchmark value. Because we've gotten the hint that the AGI were pushing for that agenda. And so we also caution government that they should not touch the benchmark value, because it is the mitigating factor. And that is the last straw in the wake of difficulties. Businesses are so much in distress. And so if you that sensitive policy, and it's the flagship program of this same government, and if it should touch, then we will be in trouble. And that's what we also told government about.
All right.
So generally, this was our expectation, and this was input, though the lists are very long, but I cannot take all this.
Yes, I'll come back to you and find out whether indeed, as you listened to the finance minister read the budget, whether these inputs were captured and whether you were satisfied with that.
Let me just say one item to finish it so that you can.
Okay.
So the budget reading, we were very satisfied with the introduction, because I've told you we want government to spread the tax net as wide as it can.
Right.
So the electronic tax system. If you look closely, you will see that almost everybody use this system for
transactions.
And so it will capture a lot more people. Even when I was talking about the e-commerce people, then of course those transactions, if it is done through Momo, will do that. But as to the rate, the 1.75, as to whether it's affordable, that's what the whole nation should also discuss. Because taxes that are not affordable, I'm not for it. Government need money, yes, but government should do it in a way that people will not suffer as a result of that.
Right.
And that's why. And then also care should be taken, because then I see a problem also here, that there's something like a double taxation that is going to come to play with this Momo system.
How?
Yes, because most of us transact in the Momo system now. I've told you the e-commerce is.
I think the Deputy Finance Minister, the Honourable John Kumar, has explained that it's not going to be a form of double taxation.
No, why not?
Streamlined, and so when it's operational, it's just going to be a one-off thing.
No, one-off what? If a tax affects my sales, and then I've paid, it should be deductible on my income tax. Yes, if it is part of my sales, how would you say that it's tax? Then what do they call it? Is it a levy or what? That thing that they put there. It's a levy or what? Or fee.
All right,
it's a tax. So if it's a double taxation, if I pay, even if I'm filing my tax and I pay electricity, don't I use it as my expense?
It's okay.
So if care is not taken for us to put it in a proper context, then it will amount to double taxation.
I think most of the ambiguities that you have, your membership, yourself and your leadership and membership have, will be cleared, when the explanations are done by the
So I will show the
ministers and all that.
It is the reason that
yes,
so
absolutely.
Let me put the benchmark.
Yes, we'll come to that, yes. I understand we have the Honourable Ahinkra on the line, but let me come to you first of all, because you were enjoying, I want you to talk so that he'll hear, and then he would give an appropriate response. So you were enjoying the 30% benchmark value, your membership, because you are basically into automobile, and that was what was allocated to you, 30%. How beneficial was this to your membership?
Thank you very much. It's very important to discuss particular issue. But as I said earlier, because of where I'm driving from,
you want to blend
it, yes, so that
let the English outweigh the
okay,
G.
no problem.
Yes.
Yes, benchmark value, for instance, about 30%, which the government brought it out so that you can boom our business. For instance, if you clear import car from maybe America, Canada, or Dubai, or Europe, you know the taxes already. And because of the 30% benchmark value, if you clear your car at the port, and for instance, you are paying about 20,000 Ghana cedis or 30,000, government said, okay, I've taken 30% out of it. So it means you have to pay 17,000. Okay, for instance, 100,000 Ghana cedis, you are paying at maybe the duty freight. Then the government said, okay, I'll deduct 30% out of it. Then maybe you pay about, 97,000 Ghana cedis. If we are selling the car at the marketplaces, because of the benchmark value, the 30% we got out of, the price will be so cheaper for customers to patronize.
Right.
But now you said you are taking out of, you are reversing the benchmark value. Means that our business are going to collapse because now, for instance, Kia Picanto at the market price now is around 33,000 Ghana cedis. Because of the benchmark, that is why you can get that price. But now if you said we are going to reverse it, means 32,000 Ghana cedis of Kia Picanto or morning, it will go up to, you have to add the 30%. So that means you have to buy that car particularly from maybe 36 or 37,000 Ghana cedis. No any businessman would tell you that it's a Father Christmas. So we, the automobile dealers, as we heard from the GRA that is going to reverse the benchmark value, we are expecting our brother, Ken Ufuriata, we respected him a lot. That is why we, the automobile dealers, we conjoin with GUTA. Because we are all traders. So that we can speak, the government will listen to you, and that if you said you are going to reverse the benchmark value, it will bring a problem to our economy. Because I can't travel to maybe US or Canada to buy something expensive and come and sell it cheaper. No, any businessman will tell you that it's a Father Christmas. So we are expecting from the media, the budget, that maybe the minister will tell us that, okay, because of what he has heard from the business community, government is doing something about it. So business should start grooming. But it's not like that. They said it's going to review. If it's a review, it didn't say anything. So we, the automobile dealers, what we are telling them, government, that you should come out and boldly tell we, the business community, that he has listened to us. But we can't just fold our arms and look at him. There's a pressure here and there from as a national president of automobile dealers. I can't sleep on this. That is why I called my senior brother, Obeng, because he's also a president to GUTA. So we have to come to one table and discuss about this particular thing so that our people will see that truly we are leaders. That is why we did the press conference. So we are here to let the world or the leaders to know that we are suffering. Too much tactics. I mean, how can the business grow? It can't. So in fact, I'm really disappointed what came out on that particular Wednesday on this benchmark value that you are going to review. Tell us something better. Review means what? You are pampering us or what? Tell us your feelings. So that
but is it not possible that government wants to take a look at how far they've come in terms of the implementation of the benchmark value and see whether or not it actually benefited or it actually yielded the needed results for which it was introduced, and so for them to take a decision?
We, the automobile dealers.
Because if you want to do a proper thing, once you implement something, there's time for there's reason for you to take stock of what you have done so far.
Sure.
And go back and check whether indeed, okay, this was the reason you implemented this particular policy. Did it actually yield the right dividends? Did we actually achieve the objective for which the policy was introduced? And I think that it's fair for government to
my brother, let me intervene this. Look, I was there one day, had a call from Jubilee House that Mr. Boateng, on your side, we send a lot of people going around garages. Just we want to know the benefit why the benchmark value 30%.
Absolutely.
Ghanaians, because of Ghanaians, it's not you the person, you the businessman, but Ghanaians. Yes. What we are hearing from the fault or the grounds is the cars still expensive. So I told them that it's not because of the prices, but the dollar rate, because we buy the cars in dollar. And assuming we are Ghanaians, we normally use our own local money. That is Ghana money, Ghana cedis. So if you sell the car and maybe you want to go and buy the car outside there, you have to convert it into dollars. And if you ship the car to the Tema port, our leaders will come and tell us that they are calculating it in dollar, so that you will pay in dollar as the duty. So you are expecting me to sell the car at the cheaper cost that, because of the benchmark 35%, 30%, it means that I should sell the car as normal price, maybe I won't get my profits out of it. No, it can't be possible. So what normally we do is that, because of I'm getting 30% out of the benchmark, if it's the cost of the car supposed to go like 35,000 Ghana cedis, I will calculate it. Okay, Massa, it's a bargaining, because all hands are not equal. Maybe you can come to my end, I will tell you this is the Picanto. I'm selling it 40,000 Ghana cedis. Because you have it, you pay. But if you don't have it, maybe you will bargain with me. Okay, my brother, this is what I can offer. All right. So it means that 30%, I can even give it out of 32,000 Ghana cedis. Because of what? The 30% benchmark.
All right. I'll come back to you, but let me go into the lines and speak to the Honorable Carlos Kingsley Ahinkra, who is the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism. I can see him there. He's well composed. Good evening, Honorable. Thank you very much for obliging us this evening.
Good evening, Bernard. How are you?
Bernard is a politician.
Oh,
I'm Kennedy,
Kennedy.
yes. Your own Kennedy.
Kennedy. Yes, how are you? Sorry.
Absolutely, I'm terrific, sir. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you. I believe you have been listening to Doc and then Mr. Boateng, and I know you were one of the persons that played a very lead role in bringing about the benchmark values, and now they agitated that government seems to want to reverse or review it. Can you tell us what exactly this situation is?
Kennedy, thank you very much, and let me say a good evening to your viewers. I wouldn't say that I'm part of the people or whatever that brought about benchmark values. That's statement that probably needs correction.
Okay.
Because doctors sitting there will tell you how much he's fought me on this benchmark value. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that the government has always lent a hearing ear, I would say, to traders, and we have always believed that they represent the engine of growth. So anything that would be detrimental to their business, anything that will hamper their very progress, government will not allow that to happen. The doctor there, Mr. Boateng, will tell you how much the president himself got himself involved in this benchmark thing when the Ulabadu came about. He invited them to Jubilee House and had a discussion with them, and wherever we are today is as a result of those discussions that they had with the president. I like to assure you, no matter what the case is, I don't think that anybody is going to bring about any changes that would serve as a deterrent or serve as the case may be, a loss of capital to their business as far as we are concerned as a government. And they should not misconstrue the minister's words of saying that he intends to review or the benchmark will be reviewed to mean that we are going to increase it, reduce it, whatever. We don't know what the minister is going to come up with. We don't know what he has in mind as we speak today. But one thing I am sure of is that he will not do anything to the detriment of the very peace that we have tried to couch with traders. So they should be rest assured. I am just thinking and hoping that we will find a very nice procedure or valuation method that would substitute all these benchmark. What is benchmark? If doctor would tell you that there's nothing like benchmark value, what is benchmark value? As far as I am concerned, and from where I'm coming from, and Kennedy, you know, we used to have what we call transactional price database, which is the data that the customs or the government agency responsible for collecting indirect taxes has piled or compiled to compare people's value with and see let me say sanctity of the value or the invoice that anybody has produced. Now, benchmark value came about when just 33 products kept on changing in value like rapidly, like there's nobody's business. And also, the difference in valuation that was provided by importers was so huge and large compared to what we had on the TPD that the custom decided to benchmark those 33 products. And if I don't have the list here to mention them, but like for example, let's say chicken leg quarters. Government have a price of let's say $10 per carton, but you will get at times importers bring in a value of let's say $40 a carton, others bring in $60 a carton, and others bring in $5 a carton. When it happens like this, government thinks that no, let me find a common ground for these imports. It could either be that somebody is trying to bring in goods to enable them to repatriate more money than they are supposed to repatriate out, or they are trying to skim the top and pay lower than what they are supposed to pay. So governments are going to benchmark this value at let's say an average of $30 per carton. So even if you bring it at 60, it will be difficult for you to repatriate monies more than the $30 value times the number of cartons of chicken leg quarters that you got, and so on and so forth. So that's why that's what brought about the benchmark values. But today, as we speak, almost every import into Ghana, we classify it as benchmark. There's nothing like benchmark. We compare values of invoices to transactional price databases, which the customs has compiled, and they are using it for valuation purposes. So we shouldn't allow benchmark to confuse us, or we shouldn't allow benchmark to be a word that when we hear, then we all start shaking, we all start, train our hands there and trying to punch the air. No, Mr. Obing, Dr. Obing, and Mr. Watin, I am pleading with you, and you get back to your members. Assure them that the government is not going to do anything different from what he has done previously, or whatever that this review is going to represent. It is going to be in their interest.
Very well. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I think that whilst we were speaking and giving that assurance, Dr. Obeng was nodding his head in agreement, and I think that is quite soothing, and they probably would, his pressure would come down a bit this evening. Yeah, you want to say something to...
That's our boss.
Yes.
And he has been fighting for our cause lately, and we appreciate it. As a matter of fact, we are going to his outfit. We are going to the Select Committee on Trade. And so I was not even expecting that you will worry him, because in that case, we will preempt whatever we are going to discuss with him. So I hope you will not disturb. We can see that he's driving.
Yeah.
But let me tell you.
No, but he's going to stick with us.
Okay, let me give you
discussion, yes.
The background of this benchmark reduction. The benchmark did not come out of the blues. It came because there was a problem. And there was a huge problem, major problem.
What was the problem?
Yeah, the problem being that the duties that we're paying, coupled with other taxes, levies, cumulated, was extorsively high. And the biggest in the whole of the world. And so, if you recall, you're a journalist. Before 2019, all that traders or business community, including AGI, including Chamber of Commerce, everybody was talking about high cost of duties. Any platform that any trader will get a duty board, have you been hearing those things these days? No. It's because of the mitigating factor of the benchmark value. So it came to solve a problem. Let me give you a scenario. If my invoice value is $100,000, and then we have about 3 duty rates, maybe 20%, 35%, 20% for electrical hardware and others, 35% for maybe tomatoes and other things. So if your invoice value, the goods that you bought from abroad, is $100,000, They will charge you the $20,000 and then add the 20%, which forms $20,000. They will add it to the $100,000 to make $120,000 before they charge you the VAT of 18.5%. Cumulatively, they will come to about 40,000 added to the 100,000. Then you see those fees, levies at the port that are lined up to about 18 different AU tax, shippers tax, edit fund, all these ECOWAS tax and all that. That one cumulates to almost 15%.
Right.
And then it comes and top up to the 40% to about 55%. So on that 100,000, I'm using 100,000 for the simplicity of the calculation for people to also clearly understand. But you can trick it down to 10,000 or whatever. You have to go and find duties and VAT and those charges. Cumulatively, you have to go and find $55,000. That is what you have to pay before your goods will be released to you. It was among the highest in the whole world. Not even America and all that, who have the money will let their citizens pay that extortive rates of duties and other taxes. It was unbearable, clearly. So we petitioned Council of State. And Council of State, having brought the commissioner and all the other stakeholders, and then they verified the authenticity of what we are telling them. So this is the rate that we are paying, and it's extortive. And it's not helping businesses.
Do you say extortive?
Extortively high.
Okay.
It doesn't. It goes beyond. It's not business friendly. So they appreciated. We went to the presidency. President also admitted that if this is the case, then we should do something. Don't also forget that because of cost of doing business was very high. We were losing business to Togo, Nigeria, and all that. Remember, most people were bringing their cargo through the Eastern Corridor and then Western Corridor. Those who would bring the rice and all that, they were also shipping through the Western Corridor. And so Ghana was losing. And government saw that then this might be the possible cause of this smuggling and all that, and the fact that businesses are not thriving. People were going through so many dubious ways and all that in order to clear their goods, because you can simply not do that. So government, by its own wisdom, because they were challenged by the ECOWAS common external tariff. So they said that because of the common external tariff by ECOWAS protocol, we cannot reduce the duty rates itself, but we want to discount your invoice value for you. And they did it, they used this innovation to solve a problem, and a major one at that. And Ghanaians held it and were appreciative of it. You know, when this thing came, you know that the Ghana AGI benefited this, GUTA also benefited this, and it has helped Ghana.
But you are turning around to blame AGI.
I'm coming.
That they are
because AGI is lobbying. Excuse me, AGI is a group that is lobbying government. And you see, when AGI is lobbying government to reverse this policy, they also called government and begged government, cried actually to government that please, much as we want you to take it off from the trading community, please maintain it for us. Double standard. How would they even do that in the first place? And we have, please, we haven't finished.
Because there's no AGI, because there's no AGI
if I don't finish, because you wanted to know the benefit that came to people and all that. I have to finish. So,
okay, please.
Yeah, and then when this benchmark value came, we have been able to solve the issues of smuggling and all that. Ghana Revenue Authority is having its target, is actually exceeding its target. 2019 it exceeded. 2020, that was COVID period, challenging period, they exceeded. And then the same benchmark value have been able to also mitigate the plight of the consuming public, because things should have gone higher. You know, prices were maintained and contained. prices could have skyrocketed because where commodity prices have gone up over 200%, 300% in some cases. Free charges have gone up from $3,000 to $15,000. If we have compounded this effect and then laid it on the shoulder of the final consumer, you couldn't have contained anything. So we contained the price and all that because of this mitigating factor. And now our opponents, those our detractors who want to destroy us, when they have opportunity like this and they are talking to the consuming public, you know what they tell them? You see, when this benchmark value also came, the traders did not give the benefit to you. This is what they tell them, and our prices are high. Those so-called manufacturers who are industrial people who manufacture goods, what they refuse to do is to tell them, but we are giving our prices to you cheaper. When they said that our prices are higher, they should have told them, but our prices are cheaper. When their prices are more, about 50% higher than our prices. And then, when they go to government, you know, having told and confused the public that we are not transferring the benefit to them, and then they are going to do their propaganda and lobby government. You know what they tell government? That when they go to government, they tell government that the benchmark value reduction that you brought have made goods so cheap in the market to the extent that we cannot sell our produce. So government, if you do not do something, our businesses will collapse. This is the dangerous thing that AGI is doing, which is not fair. They even forget that we are a very integral part of manufacturing itself.
No, but there are those who also believe that even though you have the benefit of the benchmark values, the prices of goods are still not, the best on the market.
It is not true. Then you do research.
It's a lie.
We contain the prices and we are able not to transfer the serious astronomical prices that have gone up in the world because of the mitigating factor of the benchmark value.
Okay.
Who says that?
I'll come back.
Whoever said that it's because of the propaganda that AGI is doing. But AGI have a leverage of over 45%. Once we pay duty, most of their products are zero rated for duty. Once we pay VAT to government, whatever VAT that they pay, a government refund to them. Now they are saying that 6% is contained by government. Okay. But even if it's 13% that the government refund to them plus 35% duty that others pay, is it not 48%?
Okay, I'll come back to you, Doc. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Mr. Boateng. You heard the Honorable Carlos Wahinkra giving the assurance that whatever the finance minister will do will actually be in your interest. Has that kind of like, ameliorated your doubts and kind of like convinced you that, okay, this tangent that you were going in terms of calling on government to stay away or stay off the benchmark values is okay?
Well, my senior brother has spoke, but the only thing I can say about what he said is we should be patient. Yesterday, my senior brother called me that there's a meeting going to be held as on Monday, tomorrow. Okay. With the minister. So I think...
That's the finance minister?
The trade minister. Trade, okay. Yes. So after that, whatever will come out, we'll let our people hear about it. But because of your big platform, I think that is why my senior brother, Carlos Ahinkra, came in to intervene for what we are discussing. It's very important, but I can't say nothing yet. But on the scene, I've submit some documents to you.
Yes.
I want you to go through one by one. That will be my point on. One by one, because of that document, that is why we are saying that they should abstain.
This is a very tall list. We can't go.
Oh, just okay. The duty is how much? Or the total is how much? That is a luxury
amount, 156,000
cedis. That's by Friday. You have to go and pay that money. That is Lexus 570.
That's a luxury car.
A luxury car. Yes. Thank you. It means that we, the automobile dealers, see the kind of money we are generating to our economy.
So this is the total duty.
This particular car, about 1.5 years ago, I'll ship that car to Togo. But because of the benchmark value,
yes,
I'm paying it here. because of 30% you have given me. And now, even the duty alone is 57,000 Ghana cedis. Come to VAT, 53,000 Ghana cedis. Only VAT. That is the most important, the money you have to. But the others are almost about 23 different charges. Network charges, national insurance charges, network charging. Even you have paid the duty. Just to pay the duty to the GRE, the system alone is charging you. You are paying for. You are paying the duty and the VAT. The system alone, the big man was sitting on the computer just tapping back. You are paying 3,000 Ghana cedis for this particular 156,000 luxury, you mentioned it, Lexus 570. So because of the benchmark 30%, that is why we, the automobile dealers, and per se, people who invite imported cars to Ghana, or Togo, or Ivory Coast, Nigeria, very cheap. And because of that, of 30%, they realize that there's no need for us to stress ourselves. So better, the cash should come to our main port so that the government need money for our economy.
Right.
And you said all those things, you are going to reverse the benchmark value. So I'm pleading, they should think it wise.
Yeah.
It will bring something else.
Yes. I'll come back to you. No, let me go back to the Honorable Carlos Ahinkra, and because he's the chairman of the Trades Committee in Parliament. The minister, during his submission, the finance minister in Parliament, intimated that the benchmark values was going to be reviewed, to make it more efficient and targeted. I just wanted him to shed more light on what the minister means when he says that. And then the minister also said the review will align with the policy with current development needs to protect the environment, local industry, strengthen public safety, and support public health. Honorable, I believe you have taken a perusal of the budget, and you probably have noted what the minister said with respect to the benchmark values. And what does he mean when he says all these things? Can you shed more light on it?
Well, Kennedy, you see, I mentioned earlier that I would not want to preempt what the minister is thinking, or to put it in better words, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But he means what he has said. I mean, and I'm sure Dr. Obeng has actually been thrown more light or some light on parts of what you just mentioned about saving local industries. Yeah, it is true that some of local manufacturers have also come complaining, just as the Ghana Union Traders Association went complaining to get this benchmark value in place. The manufacturing public or manufacturing consent have also come up with their own complaint to inform on the fact that the benchmark value is killing local manufacturing because some of the local imports are so cheap that the imports are so cheap that the local production cannot compete in price with them on the market. And true to their words, if you do a little bit of physical study on the market, there are some products which, of course, are certainly at risk. So just as the finance minister has said, we're going to align these problems and see where we have to adjust, where we have to ship up, or what we have to push down, and we'll let everybody be happy. So I don't think for one moment that whatever peace that we have enjoyed so far, anybody in this country, especially with the traders, anybody in this country will want us to go back to that period when we suffered a lot of hula baloo and plenty talk. And to just add a few to what Mr. Boateng also mentioned, it is true. In fact, I applaud him for admitting that the reduction, 30% reduction in benchmark value has actually made a lot of people bring their cars early to Ghana. And Kennedy, if you like to know, vehicles alone contribute close to about 45 to 50% of the total import revenue received in this country. So we cannot toy with the duties that we get out of that discipline. But the fact of the matter is, whatever calculations or whatever valuation methods that we use in coming up with the duties for vehicles is captured in law, and it's based on a certain depreciation method according to the year of manufacture of the vehicle. Right now, as we speak, since the benchmark value thing came in, we've enjoyed a situation whereby even you and I, when we import cars, we would also get 30% reduction. It has caused a lot of happiness in our hearts, happiness in the hearts of the car sellers and importers, and happiness in the hearts of course, the car buyers. But all this is happening, Kennedy, because the government is always looking for creative and innovative ways to get people to contribute more into the kitty. We always hear government say that you need to expand the tax net, or you need to widen the tax net. But who is coming up with the idea? How do we expand the tax net? And that is why particularly I am very happy with this MOMO tax that has come in. When I was listening to Dr. B, I heard him mention something like that. But if you have a few moments, I'd like to expatiate on that for us to understand why I am happy that we have introduced something like this. And probably maybe based on that, that collection, we will be able to even look at the benchmark values more and give them a little bit more reprieve in that direction. See, for the first time in the history of this country, for the first time, we're going to get people who haven't contributed anything to the kitty of government, at least contribute something little in form of MOMO transfer. People like Dr. Bing and Mr. Boateng, I don't know how they will be affected, but I can tell them that probably they will even be the beneficiary. Because the point is, I don't see Dr. Bing sending MOMO to go and import his goods to sell. But I see people sending MOMO to him for him to send goods to them wherever they are. And those people who are sending the MOMO are those who will pay the tax, but he does not suffer that tax. There are people who are selling by the roadside, for example. When you are going from Kumasi, Accra to Kumasi, you see people, especially at Enyinem, selling grass cutter, oranges, banana, even snails. Let's say this woman selling snails. He sells one basket of snail for 300 Ghana cedis. Within a month, if he sells 10 baskets, you are talking 3,000
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis. Now, we're not saying all the 3,000 is her profit, but understandably, ordinarily, this woman is supposed to file taxes and pay something to government according to whatever she sees or she gets as a margin. But this will never happen because those people are not captured in the formal sector, and they are not captured on any government documentation regards to payment of tax. But there will be a moment when this woman will want to send money to her hometown for them to pay some levies in her hometown for her. Let's say in Sawan, for example. This grass cutter guy who is selling by the roadside, they would send Mumu to the hunter to buy bullets to go to the bush and kill and bring them these animals to sell. We will get some money from there. So for the first time in the history of this country, we are getting to widen the tax net to at least get some people who haven't paid anything at all for them to contribute something. I can tell you for a fact that if we hadn't brought in this tax, sooner than later, or sooner or later, the MOMO companies would have increased their 1% flat, 10%, 10 Ghana cedis flat fee. Because if you look at the fact that government has created this enabling environment, people are able to transfer money, or people are able to operate their banking system 24/7. You don't need to take any risk by taking any money anywhere. The only charge or the only fee that you pay here is 1%, maximum 10 to the telcos, and the receiver would pay 1% also to the agent because the agent has gone to borrow money from somewhere to do this business. If you want to keep your money on your phone, fine, you don't pay any charge. But once you go to withdraw the money from somewhere, you need to pay 1% to the person. No taxes, nothing. See, if you think this 1.75 is expensive, let me give you an example. Let's say you have seen somebody advertising bags or shoes, ladies' shoes, on Instagram. This person who sells shoes lives in somewhere in Awoshi. You are in Sakumono, where I stay. You want to buy these shoes, 1,000 Ghana cedis. If you send a momo of 1,000 Ghana cedis to buy this shoe, you pay 17 cedis, 50% to government. If you think that is expensive, go to the bank, withdraw your 1,000 cedis. Take a car to Awoshi, go and buy your shoe or your bag, and take another car and come back home. There is even a possibility that you might lose the money on the way. So for me, I think that people who are trying to find ways and means to water down this particular tax that we've innovatively come up with, they are probably not trying to see the benefits that this tax actually is going to provide to Ghana. Because Momo today, as we speak, rakes in about 400 billion Ghana cedis every year. If we are able to even get 1% of that, that is 4 billion. It will be second to no other levy that we have introduced within our.
Honorable, if you can position your camera very well, I think it's kind of like making you fantastic. Yeah, this way is better. Absolutely. Thank you. This is perfect.
Okay, yes, so the most important thing here that I want everybody to understand is that government has introduced, or we've been operating this Momo for how many years? Quite a long time. Nobody has ever come up to say that let us pay taxes on them. If you go to Kenya, Kenya has tax on their Momo. I think about 3% or something. I stand to be corrected. You go to Tanzania, they do. We were the only ones that didn't have any tax on our Momo. But what is more, Kennedy? It is not a compulsory tax. If you don't do Momo, you don't pay. So for me, I don't think that there should even be any sort of worry to anybody. Because if I don't want to pay Momo, if I don't want to pay the tax, I won't do Momo. I will take my money and go and pay whatever I have to pay and come back home. Right. So it's simple. And that is the most important. It's not like fuel taxes, whereby when we sit in the taxi or we sit in the trotro, all of us, the fares that we pay, at least we are contributing towards the taxes on the fuel that the driver has bought to take us from point A to point B. No, this one is person to person. I don't want to pay Momo tax. Okay, I'll go take my money and go and buy my thing and come back home. I'll take my money wherever I am. I'm in Achimota. I'll go to Dr. Bean Opera Square, buy my cables and my bulbs, go and put it in my shop in Achimota and sell. If you don't want to send the Momo, Dr. Bean will wait for you at Opera Square, come there, physically pay him, take your things and go and sell. There's no big deal. But I know that the benefits of this Momo, I know that the risk factor that this Momo thing actually curtails would stand tall when you compare it to this 1.75 that government is charging. So let the Ghanaians not allow themselves to be deceived or dissuaded by naysayers, and let us all believe that it is a way to, for the first time, as I said, get Ghana closer to expanding or widening the tax net.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Honorable. Please don't go away. Still stay with us, because pretty shortly we shall be activating the phone lines for people to call, and I know they will have questions for you and for Dr. and Mr. Boateng here. This is Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television. Tonight we are discussing the impact of the 2022 budget as read by the Finance Minister in Parliament during the week on the trade industry in our country. Please stay. We're going for a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifu, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
All right, so you're welcome back. My producer says I can activate the phone lines now for you to call in. The number to dial is 020-552-8353. It's right there on your screen. You can call us and ask whatever questions are bothering you. Honorable Carlos Ahinkra is still on the line. We have Dr. Joseph Obing GUTA present here. We have Mr. Kweku Boateng, who is president of the Automobile Dealers Association here, also in the studio. Now, let me go to some messages. This one says, good evening. The magnitude of tax exemptions for importers perceived to be having affiliation with government is very high at the country's points of entry, where money is supposed to be going to the coffers of government finds itself in the pockets of security operatives. It is a cabal. This one is coming from David Adu. This one says that people need to go and have the discussion and settle their differences. Seriously, they do not pay the duty, so why are they complaining as automobile dealers? If you ship to Togo or Nigeria, you still have to pay duty when you are bringing it to Ghana. What are they talking about? And this one says Dr. Joseph Obing is making a nice point. God bless him. This one says, good evening, Metro TV. Please ask Honorable Ahinkra, why is it that if you bring cars from neighboring countries, the total import duty listed by Dr. Obing and the other man is not paid, but GRA charges that huge amount at the Tema harbor? Why not the same amount charged? Well, these are so... All right, I understand we have Frimpong from Tema on the line. Let's go and welcome you to the show. Good evening, Frims.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Please flow.
All right. I want to touch a little on what our Honorable Carlos said with regards to the e-transaction levy, especially with the MOMO aspect.
Right.
I want to draw his attention to digitization and then trade facilitation as well. You know, like he was saying that some can actually decide not to use the MOMO. If you want to make payment, you can actually carry your money, and then, you know, we have moved beyond that. I think we are trying to achieve a standard and then keep pace with modernization now, so to speak. Now let's come to the point. We make a lot of payments via MOMO now. Now with the advent of COVID, most of the shipping lines actually moved on with this digitization, whereby we pay online and then do all these online payments. Now with this levy, come to think of it, when you're going to make payments through some of these shipping lines, and you have to do it via MOMO, you'll be charged with this certain amount. And this 1.75 is going to affect the cost of doing business. You understand? I understand as well. Now, on their website, you can retrieve your invoices and make payments via MOMO. So if the telcos are going to take their charge, and government is also charging us 1.75, don't you think, I mean, traders are still going to bear some of these costs? Apart from these shipping lines, nuisance charges that they are taking, if you're making payments via MOMO, we are still going to make an additional payment of taxes, which will add to the cost of doing business. And you see, we are all trying to join the digitization wagon. We don't want to be retrogressed. So if you want to achieve this trade facilitation agenda and then, champion digitization to make our port attractive, I think government should look at it. Because you know what? When we keep paying and then making this payment online and we add cost of doing business, we'll go back to the era whereby we carry all our money, go to Gabon and make payment, go to the bank and make payment, and it will actually delay in clearance. So please, they should look at it again. If the receiver is not supposed to bear any cost, then we are going to entreat the government to sit down with the shipping lines whereby traders.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Frimpong from Tema. We are grateful. We appreciate your call. I think that Honorable Carlos Ainkra, you heard him loud and clear. He thinks that there's still something that you can do about it because he believes that it's going to be quite a burden on the already, if you like, overburdened trader or the ordinary consumer, so to speak.
Yeah, I share Frimpong's opinion. But I think there's always a way out in these matters. See, for example, if you want to buy an airline ticket from Emirates online, when you get to the payment side, it gives you 3 different methods that you can use to pay.
Options.
Bank transfer, by a card, or through PayPal or whatever. So these shipping lines that he's talking about, yes, I'm aware that some of them want the money through Momo, which is faster. Some of them, at the same time, there's an alternative. You can do a bank transfer. They provide their bank details and their, SWIFT code and everything that you can also transfer and so on. Because the onset of this pandemic actually brought about new changes in how to do business. Even the internet that you use, Mr. Frimpong, is still going as a cost to business that we need to consider. So by and large, to every rule there's an exception. You will certainly find outliers in some of these things, but it does not mean that it affects the whole program that has been rolled out. I am saying that, and I insist that this law or this tax is not a compulsory tax. If Frimpong thinks that he would not want to pay 1%, 1.75% for Momo on the shipping line charge, they can do a transfer. I don't know whether with the transfer the banks will charge any transfer fees or not. I know that the bank does not charge something. But here, remember that money that will not come to government. They only take this money from you, put them together at the end of the year and pay some to government as tax. Here, this one is going straight to government. And I think that if I were you, whilst I am going to, or whilst I have the opportunity to pay to somebody for them to, own that money, and if I have the opportunity to also pay to government, for government to have that money to develop the country for my own good, I'd rather pay the one that goes to the government.
Right.
Also to help him, I think that if it is possible that we can sit down with this shipping, I know what other people do is that they create an account with this shipping line. And they put monies in this account with the shipping line, and it's deducted as a loan. So there are several ways that we can do this, make this payment. And I don't see how this can increase the cost of doing business. No.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Please still don't go. Let's go to Tamale and welcome Abdul Fattah onto the phone lines, onto the show. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
Absolutely. Please flow.
I want to know from our honorable chairman of
the Trade Committee,
yes,
Industry Committee, sure.
If indeed they want to tax Momo, what happened to 1% COVID-19 health recovery levy on the 13% VAT flat rate, making it 4% now? What happened to 1% COVID-19 health recovery levy on 2.5% national health insurance levy, making it 3.5 now? What happened to 5% financial sector cleanup recovery levy? Indeed, he is talking about everybody or the Kwanya market seller who is to send money to the village to buy his or her goods. The fellow must pay additional levies to government, is it not bringing hardship to already burdened Ghanaian people? In fact, the slogan of moving from taxation to production, what happened to it? Indeed, we have put our much effort in believing these people, putting them as duty bearers to lead us. They are not being fair to us.
All right.
We are suffering in the market. The Momo transaction, matter the way they are going to tax it, they should reconsider their decision. If not, the kind of hardship Ghanaians will experience, it will be more severe than 19 Chubus. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Abdul Fattah from Tamale. Honorable, this is your take. Please, let's see what you have to say about it.
Yes, Kennedy, I want Abu to understand that all those taxes that he mentioned, all those levies that had come up before now, when you put all those monies together, people would say that there are plenty taxes. Yes, plenty taxes. But when we collect these monies, how much do we realize from this collection and what is it able to do for the country? Everybody wants good roads. Everybody wants clean water. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to go to school for free. You understand? When we put all this together, you need money to cover them. Government does not buy. Government does not sell. Government does not manufacture. Government depends on you and me to put money in its kitty for them to use for development. If we don't put money in there, government doesn't have money to develop the country. And it is simplistic that. Now you're talking about this person in the market who is going to suffer blah, 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 blah. Under normal circumstances, that person in the market is supposed to pay at least some tax at the end of the year when they finish doing their business and they have filed their returns with the tax authorities. But how many people do that? The recent census captured, I think, 30 million people as being in Ghana. Out of this 30 million people, only 2.5 million people are captured on the tax database. What's happening to the rest? So you think 2.5 million people can take care of the whole of Ghana? That is why we are suffering. You see, you want your road to be done. Government says, "I'll come and do it." He doesn't come and do it. It's not that he's not willing to come and do it, but there's no money to come and do it because we are not paying enough. Yes, government knows that they can also not overburden people to pay over and above what they're supposed to pay. So they have to use for innovative ways to create this collection. And that is why we have come up with this one. For example, this road tools was given us something around 17, 80 million every year. Every year, 80 million. He cannot even construct more a 5 kilometer or 10 kilometer road.
Yeah.
If you ask me. So what is the point in making somebody stay in the queue for 1.5 hours to pay 50 pesos and pass through, this long queue, pass through a toll and go. Sometimes some people even lose their flight when they are coming all the way from the western side to Accra to board their plane because of this traffic. 50 Ghana cities. So government said no. Okay, let me look for a better way to get more money to do this road way.
And that's how come this e-levy came in.
To drive out.
Honorable,
and that's how can we abolish the toll.
Absolutely. So we have run out of time. I think that I was beginning to enjoy your submission. But on a good day, with the permission of my bosses, I'm sure we can bring you in studio so that we can have this discussion and we can exhaust all the angles that we need to exhaust. We appreciate your time this evening for joining us here.
I'll be more than glad to come. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Honorable Carlos Ayinkra. He is the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism. He joined us via Zoom. We appreciate his time with us. Dr. Obing, please, just 30 seconds and then we wrap up. Just 30 seconds.
I appreciate whatever Honorable Carlos Ayinkra said, because we all have to pay our taxes and we support. Because if the tax net is not spread, what is going to happen is that they will lump everything on the importer. And that's why when government do everything, if it be petroleum levy and all that, those things that capture everybody about. When the talk tax was reduced, I wasn't particularly happy. Right. Because everybody used the mobile phone and they were using it. But then, if you want to do something to be successful, and then if you are doing it whilst this thing is a tool for business, then you should also know that if the person paid tax there and it becomes an expense, and then that expense will be treated when capturing its income tax, and that government should know, and then the area that we sit down to make sure that it's treated as just a ordinary thing. Okay. But excuse me, when we say that the benchmark reversal, when government says is reversing the benchmark value, is he reversing it to the for distraction or to do? Because we have a serious problem. That's why we have to sit down with government.
We have run out of time.
We have to sit down with government. We have an unfinished business.
Yes.
Because we cannot sit down for anything.
Thank you. Yes, unfortunately, we don't have any more time. I know everything is fine with you, so let me just wrap up and then, but we don't have enough time. Mr. Boateng.
Oh, okay. The only thing I'll say is that my people should be patient for this particular reversal of benchmark value. We are still, having the discussion with the so-called big men, and we know better things will come out of.
All right. So let me say thank you to Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is president of Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and Mr. Eric Kwekuboateng, president of Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, and indeed to the Honorable Carlos Ayenkra for joining us on our report tonight. We've been discussing the impact of the 2022 budget on the trade in our country. My name is Kennedy Mona. Remember, we would like to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Port and Harbors Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, operators of ICOMs in the ports. The abridged version of the show is also aired on Ghana Television every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Thank you very much indeed, and have a wonderful week ahead.